Well, hello there, and I do hope you're all well. Now, this is a really fascinating exchange between Labour's MP Chris Bryant and, at the moment of this video being made, still our Foreign Secretary James Cleverly in this week's Foreign Affairs Committee, where Chris Bryant went on to authoritarian regimes, from what's happening in Iran to the situation with the Qatar World Cup and the safety of football fans from the LGBT community, right up to a certain incident that he had with a former Foreign Secretary who's so dense she bends light.
Moving on to authoritarian regimes, if we may, for a moment. So first of all, just in relation to Iran, the demonstrations that have followed on from the horrific murder of Mahsa Amini, do they fill you with hope?
Well, it is inspirational seeing those Iranian women, actually not just the Iranian women and the supporters. And this is an organic response to oppression by the Iranian government. And it should be seen by the Iranian regime as a warning that they need to change, that they need to reform, that the Iranian people themselves are not at all happy with the Iranian regime.
So would you support similar demonstrations by gay people in Qatar?
Well, I would. I mean, I've spoken with the Qataris about their relationship, their legislation about homosexuality. I would always promote. I mean, this is my personal view, but also the UK government's view is that we would always promote. Not just tolerance, but a real embrace of diversity. We fly the rainbow flag at our missions across the world, including in the Middle East. And I would be very happy if that was a change ultimately in the Qatari system.
So you'd support
but ultimately,
demonstrations during the World Cup?
No, I wouldn't.
Because you think gay people should respect Qatar's views?
What I've always said, and this is the universal travel advice, is that when British nationals travel overseas, they should respect the laws of their host country. It is my job, we talked about consular, it is my job to make sure that British visitors overseas are safe, and it is the default setting in terms of our travel advice to respect the laws of your host country, just as we would expect visitors to come to our country to respect our laws. That said, we do champion gay rights around the world. We're very proud of the fact we champion gay rights around the world.
It's not what your comments came across as, I'm afraid.
Well, how they came across and what I said is not necessarily the same thing.
Well, maybe you need to think. Sorry, I don't mean to sound patronising, but maybe you need to think a bit more about how you address these things.
What advice you would give to gay travellers going to Qatar?
Well, I don't think anybody should be going to Qatar other than the teams to play. I don't think the World Cup should have been given to Qatar because workers have been killed in building the building, migrants have been treated appallingly, gay men are regularly entrapped by police officers and then sent to prison, and in particular if you're a Muslim in Qatar you can face the death penalty. It's not been used, but you can face the death penalty. So I don't think any of it should be happening. But then when you come out and you say, no, gay people should respect Qatar, it does feel a bit of a slap in the face.
So the point is, there will be gay football fans. There will be LGBTQ plus football fans going to Qatar. I want them to be safe. And my question is, for those gay fans who want to go and watch the football, what advice realistically should I give other than the advice that I believe will keep them safe?
Well, and what advice have you given to the Qataris?
I have told them, I've had conversations with the Qatari authorities about how important we feel that they respect gay fans. I've had detailed discussions about what they will do to ensure the safety of LGBTQ plus football fans who are going to see the World Cup. But I ask again, genuinely, if gay fans choose to go and watch the football, realistically, what advice do you think I should give? Because if you're suggesting that I should give the advice that might put them into a difficult situation, I don't think that is the professional thing.
I don't think they'd be safe to go, so I would advise them not to go.
But if they did go, what advice would you give them if they did go?
I've given my... It's not my job to give the advice, but
you criticise the advice that I've given, which I believe is the best way of helping them stay to stay safe whilst they're visiting the country.
Can I just ask, are you going
I will be going.
to the World Cup?
I will be going to the World
Why?
Cup. Because it is because for a number of reasons.
Firstly, there will be. You want to go?
Because I'm the Foreign Secretary, and it is my job to ensure the British visitors stay safe. I've visited Qatar in the lead up to the World Cup, and when I go to the World Cup, I will be speaking to the security authorities to ensure that English and Welsh or whatever other British fans might be going to the World Cup.
Even Sepp Blatter thinks that it was awarded corruptly.
Remain
safe. Do you think it was awarded corruptly?
Well, look, if your criticism is Qatar hosting the World Cup, that's a criticism you best bring up with FIFA because they were awarding body. My job is to make sure that when British fans go to watch the football, that they are safe. I've had conversations with the Qatari authorities to ensure that is the case, and the advice that the travel advice, including the LGBTQ plus travel advice on the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office website, is also about making sure people stay safe. And I understand there'll be people uncomfortable with Qatar hosting the World Cup. I get that.
Okay.
But my job is to make sure that those people who do visit stay safe.
I think you had a phone call with the Saudi Foreign Secretary on the 27th of October.
Quite possibly.
Well, you publicised it, so did you raise human rights abuses in Saudi Arabia with him during that call?
I need to read back the readout from the conversation. But from the UK, we champion human rights regularly in conversations around the world.
But you can't remember whether you did on this occasion.
I make plenty of phone calls a day, and
perhaps you can write to us on that one specifically to let us know if you did raise it. Obviously, the issue being that with Liz Truss, she told us that she had raised human rights in every engagement and regularly with Middle East leaders. That then appeared to not be the case.
Well, I do raise human rights regularly. But
on this case, will you write back to us?
Yeah. So I cannot say for certain without looking at the minutes of the conversation we had, what specific subject or subjects I raised.
And has the UK ever raised the issue of Jamal Khashoggi with the Saudi
We have
government?
done, yeah. We have done.
And saying who was responsible?
Well, so we have raised, and we do raise human rights issues with interlocutors. Again, I without referring to the minutes of conversations I had, I can't
so you can write to us about that as well.
Let you know exactly when it was raised most recently.
And you'll write to us about that as well then.
I can give you a download of the conversations that we had.
Thanks.
Thank you. I think on FIFA there is a key point, however, that we are a multilateral asset in the world, and we do have a say in telling FIFA that we expect to see an end of this a giving of World Cups to Russia, to Qatar, to countries where our people are fundamentally unsafe. I think all of us will want to see a strong response from the Foreign Office over the coming weeks should we see the right to protest, which I believe exists legitimately within Qatar. You are allowed to undertake protests. British nationals, should they choose to, should be protected within the drink zone, with outside the drink zone. I think the concerns about Turkish police, we are looking to the sports minister and yourself to make sure that any constant response is immediate response and that we see that real strength.
Now, you do remember when he had our Dizzy Lizzy on the ropes about the situation with Saudi Arabia? Hilarious, wasn't it? What an idiot. But the thing is, cleverly, he seemed quite evasive about it as well, didn't he? But you can tell with Chris Bryant's first question about what's happening in Iran, that was a lead-up question to the situation with what's happening in Qatar, wasn't it? And he's absolutely bang on the money about Qatar and the World Cup, isn't he? Should never have been given the chance to host the World Cup, should they? Now, cleverly statement about respecting Qatar's laws and all that nonsense irked Chris Bryant, didn't it? And if I'm honest, I'm not surprised, really. You just get the feeling cleverly shirked his responsibility and basically just threw those from the LGBTQ community under the bus as far as I can see. But what do you guys think? Let me know in comments below, and till the next time I shall bid you farewell and take care.